Barry Pavel is the vice president and a director of the RAND Corporation's National Security Research Division. He joins me now live from Washington. Barry, good to have you on with us. How do you view this visit by Blinken? Would you call it a success?
Yes, I think there's a saying when you're digging yourself a hole, stop digging. I think the two sides were for a long time kind of digging a hole, and I think this trip succeeded in at least stopping the downward spiral of bilateral relations for now, putting at least a temporary floor underneath the deterioration. And so now there are steps that were outlined that would be additional constructive steps for maintaining a dialogue. The issues remain very difficult and there's disagreement. So the issues themselves, not really any progress, but at least the two sides are talking. I don't know what China thinks it's doing by not talking military to military. That's achieving nothing, in my view. But that's what they're insisting on. And eventually, I think they'll have to agree it's going to be in both countries' interests
Yeah,
to avoid military.
yeah, what about that? Because China did reject Blinken's proposal to set up a military-to-military communication. What does that say to you about the engagement between these two countries going forward?
I think they're trying to set the terms that they prefer, the Chinese, and I just don't think that's going to redound to their own interest. They're using the excuse that the U.S. sanctions were put on the Chinese defense minister, but lots of sanctions flying all around, and I don't think that's a reason to not try to have stabilizing military-to-military discussions so you can set some parameters for avoiding crises that may emerge from accidents, from incidents, from planes flying too close to each other, which Chinese planes have been doing, from ships getting too close to each other. Chinese ships have been doing that too. So I think it's just important that that dialogue be established as soon as possible.
Yeah, and certainly some positive steps were made, though nothing concrete, as you said. But what are the optics of this visit? Who do you think came out ahead here? Does this look like the U.S. is making concessions to China, as Blinken was the one to travel to Beijing?
I mean, someone had to take the first step. So I think it was interesting, Xi Jinping at the end of a long table, everybody looking at him from the sides. A little Putin-esque in that regard, at least in one of the pictures, one of the initial pictures that I saw. But I don't think that's significant. I think it shows the U.S. Doing all it can, going the extra mile to try to establish some bilateral stability. It'll be those optics will be minor as things go forward, and the next visits are on U.S. soil, at least from what I could tell, including Xi Jinping coming to the United States late in the year for a meeting with President Biden.
All right, Barry Pavel joining us from Washington. Thank you.